for sure. Time management has been a challenge for me, especially because I have it's not just one part of, it's not like just the software. I'm doing like the print on demand as well, and also I can compose, arrange, mix, and master music. If you heard the intro song to this podcast, I wrote that for Eric, and so it's been challenging to juggle everything. This is really great to be said in the sense that I can just continue working my startup company on this visa. I don't need to be employed by a Taiwanese employer. And
Michael, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
hey, Eric, it's good to be back. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you want to do a quick elevator pitch intro, kind of who you are and what you do? And for those listening who maybe didn't catch Michael on the first time on the show, this will be kind of a update on the situation from what was the way you described it? Quitting your dystopian 9 to 5, I think was the phrase.
Yes.
So you want to do a quick intro for the people, tell the people where you are and what you're up to?
Yeah. So my name is Michael Yee. I'm self-employed. The founder of my LLC called Agora Pluribus Technologies, and I'm in the process of moving over into Taiwan so I can work as a digital nomad. And I'm a software engineer. Like Eric was saying before, I quit my job in the credit card industry. It was pretty dystopian to do my own thing, and I can do this all from Taiwan.
Very nice. Question from the last guest. What is one thing from your childhood that shaped you into who you are today?
Um, I think that one thing is my parents really uh, taught us that, like my brothers and me, that it's really important to do well in school. And so growing up, I my favorite class was math in school, and so I went on to become a software engineer. However, like fast forward, and then that's what's enabled me to do this pretty big life change. Um, so yeah, just being uh like studious and hardworking in school.
Yeah,
That's
I
shaped
mean,
me.
super
Um,
important, right?
yeah,
Especially like the kind of the love of learning, right? Regardless of if it's even in formal education or not.
right.
The more you learn and the more you're curious about the world, the more kind of skills you pick up, the more marketable and kind of wise and knowledgeable you become. Well, maybe not wise. I know plenty of people who are very smart and not very wise, but that's a
Mm.
different conversation for a different day. But yeah, I totally agree. So, um, do you want to give I guess some background for on you for the people listening. I know we touched on it a little bit already. So you made the leap into quitting kind of the 9 to 5, the stability, the paycheck safety. You knew it was coming every 2 weeks or whatever it was. Um, so how has that adjustment been? Here we are about what 8 months later, something like that. I think we spoke in September. Um, it's about 8 months later. You've started your business. Um, how's it going?
Yeah. So when I first started the business, I was placing all this stress on myself, and I guess it's something I've learned from like my whole career that uh that pressure makes output, but um yeah, I found that uh if I'm working for myself, I don't like that really just vanishes. And so it's been hard to adjust to the mindset. Um and it's also been yeah, it's been a little challenging to launch this software product that I have. It's called Agora Pages. Um and so I have a minimum viable product. It's an alpha. You've seen it. It's a website building application. It's kind of like NeoCities. So the idea is that you don't need to know how to code, and you can just put stuff online outside the normal avenues, which is like social media. And I think what drove me to do this is that the social media algorithms, I think, are they're bad. Um, and so I made this website building platform. It's like you should be able to put whatever you want on your corner of the internet. It's kind of like I think the idea of what where MySpace used to be. Um, well, that's the idea, and I found that like 8 months later, it's hard to get people to know about and use this piece of software. Although recently, I've started to get more organic traffic to the site, just I guess from mostly from my LinkedIn and from like Google searches and stuff. Um, and so that's on the software end, and then I've realized that um, because I was talking last time about that sort of print on demand um, other project that I have going on, and that's I have this very specific dot art kind of style, and that goes on to uh, apparel and stickers, and I'm trying to get to set that up too. Um, I guess the biggest thing in the past 8 months is that it's like it takes it's hard. It's to launch things. It takes longer than you hope, but I'm in it for the long game, you know?
Yeah, 100%. You want to tell people some of the adjustments that you learned and from going into an environment where somebody had things that you needed to do and like your schedule and structure was kind of set out for you from making the leap to from that to you're your own boss and you're setting your own schedule and now you got to make your own deadlines and you have to meet your own deadlines. There was a quote from I think it was Jordan Peterson who said you're you are your own worst boss and an even worse employee. Um, so you want to talk to the people about kind of the adjustments that you made from just a time management and a mindset perspective, and what some of the things that you learned, and maybe if you knew these things now, what you would tell yourself 8 months ago on how to kind of overcome those.
Yeah, for sure. Time management has been a challenge for me, especially because I have like it's not just one part of it's not like just the software. I'm doing like the print on demand as well, and also I can compose, arrange, mix, and master music. If you heard the intro song to this the podcast, I wrote that for Eric, and so it's been challenging to juggle everything. Um, and also I've been trying to be more healthy because when I worked 9 to 5, I'd sit at a desk all day, and that's really not good for you. So I've been trying to get outside more and go on walks. And um, I think that if I were to tell myself from 8 months ago, like a piece of advice, um, it would be that like to enjoy the journey and not to place so much pressure because um, while I was working 9 to 5 as a software engineer, I saved aggressively, and then now I get to basically uh, enjoy this move to Taiwan and this whole new adventure and being uh, so there's no need to stress about like immediate results. Um, as long as I just keep on coming back and keep on making progress, that eventually that this will it'll grow into something that's successful over time.
Yeah. Talk about as well, because you mentioned three separate sort of potential avenues for income, right? And you mentioned as well that you were saving a lot. So maybe perhaps income wasn't of the utmost concern, at least initially. But talk about the the sort of time management between doing the things that maybe you enjoy but are tougher to monetize. For example, the art side, I feel like might be a bit tougher to monetize than, or whatever the case may be is, right? Because you've got to prioritize what you like, what's going to actually bring in some income, and then kind of figure out how to balance those in a way that makes sense and you feel like you're getting fulfillment out of all of those. Um, and to me, just having kind of we've been talking over the last 10 months, kind of being along for the ride a little bit. Feels like sometimes that you aren't sure how exactly to do that best. So talk about that a little bit because I mean, all like I'm using your music for the theme song. I've listened to a few of the other things that you've done. The dot art is super cool. The website builder, I think, like eventually could, with enough time and effort, could maybe take some customers away from a Wix or a Squarespace or one of these sorts of things. And so you've got all these kind of irons in the fire a little bit. So talk about how you manage all that, how you enjoy each one, how you're pursuing them from a business standpoint, maybe without losing the enjoyment of them, because that happens as well, right? You enjoy something and then you turn it into a side hustle, and then you feel the pressure because you're like, well, now I have to do this because it's how I'm making money, and you don't like it anymore. So talk about all those sorts of factors.
Yeah, of course. So I think with the original vision for the website builder, again, what I was saying before, that was what drove me to build it. And now that I have a product, it's easier to iterate on that than to build it from scratch, which was hard. But uh, I think that for me, like I work, I'm trying to shift my mindset out of working under pressure for like really strict deadlines. And I'm trying to, um, yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the ride, as you're saying. Um, and so for me, it's like little by little, I might go to these like tech meetups and show people my website builder, and then get little feedback from people, um, and iterate a little bit. Uh, on certain like pain points, fix bugs, stuff like that. And for the print on demand, um, I'm starting to ramp that up, uh, and I'm uh, instead of like for me, instead of trying to target so many designs per day, um, I just have a workflow where uh, like I wrote a software that helps me generate that art. And it's not AI generated art. It's uh, I like while I'm making this art, I'm modifying code that I wrote, and then and that so I just trust that I have that workflow, and over time I'll get enough designs to be successful. Um, just having like um, focusing more on the like like a long distance sort of like view. Uh, it's easy while in the moment to focus too much on, oh, I didn't get like 5 designs today. But the things with creativity, sometimes you can't rush it. So I found that like sometimes I'll be in the mood to do like 10 designs, and then other times I'm not. So and it doesn't make sense to force myself when it's not, when it's not hitting. So maybe I'll go outside. Maybe I'll think about the other things, like maybe try to write music, um, or like work on the website builder. Um, and yeah, that's basically how I've been going about it. Um, Now it's been a challenge to be as productive though, because like instead of being motivated by like external pressures, now it's all like internal motivation. And I'm still trying to navigate that, but I'm overall I'm happier. I'm less stressed out, and I've got all these sort of projects that I think have a long tail, in the sense that like they might be slow to grow, but over time, they all got potential.
Mm, yeah. Talk about, because you also mentioned from like the long tail, of course, which I think that I agree with, but the internal motivation piece. What like what sorts of difficulties are you running into with that? Or you mentioned you had some challenges adjusting to that. Um, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And for other people who are maybe thinking of taking the plunge into entrepreneurship, like how should they be thinking about that?
Yeah, so when you're working a 9 to 5, you're working for someone else, and they basically set all the terms. They have this leverage over you, like technically, like this big paycheck, all the benefits that, um, and so basically you're like the deadlines. A lot of it's out of fear, like that pushes you forward, like the fear of losing all this stuff, or the fear of uh getting behind. But when you're working for yourself, I mean, there's some of that, but it's all self-imposed. It's not as, it's not like, well, for me, there's not as much external pressure. Now, that's because I didn't make this switch until financially I was, like um, I knew I was doing well enough where I didn't have to worry as much about making money immediately. Whereas I think a lot of startups that's a huge pressure point. So I think my case is a little bit unconventional. Um, and uh, yeah, it's just been this shift between what do I have to do versus what do I want to do. And
Mm.
um, I think long term, what I want to do, like that mindset is more sustainable. But in the short term, you might not get as much productivity out of it in the conventional sense.
No, that makes total sense. What about the marketing aspect, right? Because when you start a business, people need to know about it so they can buy it or
Right. And
participate in
that's
it or whatever verb you want to use. How has that been for you? Because I know having spoken with you previously, marketing, you don't really have a marketing sort of background. I don't really either. Um, so a lot of this is kind of like trial by fire. But how's that been making the adjustment of like now you have to really advocate for yourself and tell people that your stuff is great and so they should buy it and like how's that adjustment been for you?
well, that's been the most challenging part, because I don't really have a big social media presence outside of like I guess LinkedIn is my big one. I made that one post that went viral like last year, and that's how you found me.
Hmm.
But outside of that, um, yeah, it's been hard because I like to make stuff. I like to build, but while you're building, it's not the same thing as promoting. So I think um, it probably would have behooved me to come up with a marketing plan beforehand, and do that. Try to do that at the same time as I'm building. Um, I was thinking about places to post online. I don't really have a marketing budget is one of the problems, so I'm gonna have to use social media at some point. Um, whether that's certain subreddits or I guess LinkedIn or maybe Instagram or something. I don't really use Instagram right now, um, but I'm hoping that again with these projects that have a long tail, that over time, the growth might be slower, but it'll like have people coming back, um, or people like it might, yeah. So this is one of the things where I probably have to work on the most. I was talking
Mm.
to someone at a networking event about like ideal customer profile. Like who's the person that you're trying to get to use your product. Um, and for Agora pages, that looks, I think, like people who are creative or um, who want their own little place on the internet but aren't very technical. Um, and basically trying to find out where these people congregate online, uh, and um, how do I target these people? So yeah, I'm trying to learn this all on my as I'm going. And this is, if you have any suggestions, I'd be open to hearing what you have to.
Yeah, I mean for the art piece, I think Instagram would definitely be a good place as it's mainly pictures.
Mhm.
And so that would be a good place for that. As far as the music goes, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a creative from a musical standpoint. YouTube has been relatively kind to me for the soccer stuff and the podcast stuff as well. So, I mean, I don't know. The more you try, like it's interesting because like for the soccer stuff in particular. I've got TikTok and Instagram and YouTube all running, and some content does well on one and not the other. Some does well on all three. Some does well on two, but not one. And so you really just have to try it and see what works and what doesn't, and then be consistent with it is kind of the mantra that most people would tell you. Um,
Yeah, I've
is
heard
the
that
consistency.
consistency is important for the algorithm for
Hmm.
whatever platform you're on. And I think this might be have to be this shift for me where I'm in building mode versus, well, now I have a lot of stuff set up, but I have to do outreach.
Hmm.
And maybe it's not all one or all the other, but for me, it's just like it's hard to promote something that you don't have yet.
Yeah.
And then now I have the website builder. Now I have this print on demand store. Um, and I also have my music. And so yeah, trying to uh find the right social media. I just got a Pinterest account
Ooh.
for my print on demand. So I'm trying to get traffic to my store that way. Um, but yeah, I have to I think I have to figure out a better social media strategy. Um, because I guess one of the misconceptions is that if you make something, people will come, but that's not necessarily that's not true.
Yeah, yeah, especially nowadays is the saying, if you build it, they will come. But they won't come if nobody knows about it. So, um, yeah, no, it's an interesting sort of conundrum. So on that note, for people interested in any of these things, I guess we can start with the website builder. For people interested in that, like how should they, if they're interested in getting hosted on your platform, or they're interested in building one on there, like how do they access it? How do they use it? Where can people find it?
Right. So you just go to agorapages.com and you can just get started right there. It's a you can log in with Google, uh, and you just go to making your site. Right now, there are two types of websites that my platform supports. It's a pages site, and also blogs. Uh, so all you have to do is just go to the website.
And then it's fairly self-explanatory for those listening. Like
Yeah.
if somebody's nervous, say, well, I don't know how to build a website, and this this guy is a software guy, but I don't know anything. Like, how should people be thinking about, or should they be nervous about going to it if they maybe are worried about that sort of thing?
Well, you don't need to know how to code at all. All you need is it's kind of like drafting um, an email or a post somewhere. Uh, you just you type up content and maybe you can upload images too. Um, and then it's your space. And then maybe you don't build Rome in a day, but you can just keep on working on it. Um, and then my platform takes care of the rest of it.
Okay,
You just upload your stuff.
very nice. And then what about the music and the dot art?
Yeah. So um, for the dollar, I have a store on Redbubble and also on TeePublic. Um, and I'm working on expanding it into Displate, which is all these are print on demand platforms where you can buy pieces of apparel and stickers and various things with my art on it. Um, and so you just need to go to the those sites, and I'll send you my like link tree basically.
Okay.
It's called Hyperfollow by DistroKid, and then it'll have also links to my music streaming sites. Um, like Bandcamp and like Apple Music and Spotify. Um,
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else that you want to mention on the business side before we go to visa process?
no, I'm just trying to learn this as I go. This is my first startup, and then I've met several people while networking over the past several months. Some people are on their second or third startups, so um, yeah. And then mine is a little unconventional, um, and then I kind of have like these three different things going on at the same time. Um, but yeah, I'm really enjoying learning a lot, and um, I'm excited to see fast forward a year or 2 years, see where I end up.
Nice. Sounds great. Okay, so then, so you mentioned you're moving to Taiwan. For people
Yes.
who are unfamiliar with how that works in terms of visas, work visas, student visas, like what is the process like to gain the ability to go move to another country from like as an American citizen? Like what is that like? Is it difficult? What are the steps you got to walk through? Because it's different, of course. I think probably people have been they've gone and visited places elsewhere or whatever, or gone with their passport, but to stay for an extended period of time, what is that process like? And describe it for us, things that went well, things that were a little bit difficult, like all the above.
Okay, so there's different types of visas. There's like a work visa. There's I don't know all the different types of visas, but the one that I applied for is probably the top visa. It's designed to attract highly skilled professionals. So it's called the Gold Card visa, and um, the way like they try to make it easy. So it's the application process is online, and so you there are certain criteria you have to meet in order to qualify for consideration for this visa. And for me, that was a minimum income requirement working in science and technology, which is if you're a software engineer in the United States, you basically qualify. Uh, and so for me, that was the easiest way to uh, to apply for this visa. And this is a really great visa in the sense that I can just continue working my startup company on this visa. I don't need to be employed by a Taiwanese employer. Um, and so what I'm saying is basically that if you're a software engineer and you're listening, you could do this yourself. Like it's you would need to upload certain documents um, to show that like yes, you have work experience in science and technology, and you have the minimum income requirement. You like upload, I think, tax documents, um, and then you have to wait for the bureaucracy to go through and like look at your application, um, and then it's very specific. Sometimes, like they for the headshot photo, they want a certain aspect ratio. They want the background to be white. Um, so there was some back and forth. It's like, oh, you need to upload a different picture, or this document you need to re-upload it, or so there's some back and forth, but it's all online. And then at the end, you'll need to send your passport to the Taiwan um, Economic and Cultural Office, TICO, in New York City. The same passport that you used to apply with the application, um, and then basically it was fairly streamlined. Uh, I I know most visa application processes are much more stressful, um, but this gold card process was really fairly easy.
So is this a US visa function or is this specifically for Taiwan?
This is for Taiwan,
Okay.
the Taiwan gold card.
Okay. So why Taiwan? Of all the places in the world that you could have moved, why Taiwan?
Okay, there's a few reasons. One of them is that the cost of living is really low compared to the United States. So I think it's about a third the cost of living. So um, like I was telling you before, I've saved up aggressively as a software engineer. Um, and so I basically have enough to sustain myself in Taiwan, uh, based from what I've saved up. And I know a few people there. I'm not, you know, I'm not from Taiwan. I was born in Philadelphia. Um, I grew up in this area. Um, but I just like so I know a few people there, so I won't be alone. Um, and then uh, yeah, then basically while I'm trying to launch the startup company, I can just I can be living there and sustain myself. Whereas in the US, the cost of living is way higher. I had to move out of my apartment in South Philly as part of well, this is a part of like the process of getting to move over to Taiwan. But I mean, the rent here is really high. Um, just like the general cost of living. I don't have enough to um, I don't have enough to retire, obviously in the United States. But if I'm living in Taiwan, it looks starts to look different.
Hmm. So are there other benefits from from the business side in terms of maybe, I don't know if grants is the right word, but other opportunities for you as a small business or a startup owner over
Well,
there
yeah,
as well?
I hear the tech ecosystem in Taipei is really strong. Um, I hear you can just go into a cafe and you'll be able to run into like a bunch of these really skilled engineers. Um, you just might just be at the cafe. Um, I met someone actually who's in Philly and he offered to help me get set up with that the tech ecosystem in Taipei because he was living there for a little bit, so he has some connections there. Um, uh, and then again from a financial perspective, I'm fairly independent with that. So like I haven't looked into like grants that much in Taiwan. Um, they're hard to get. Grants are very hard to get. But I just be focused on building my business. Um, and all I would need is a laptop and an internet connection. I would be a digital nomad. It's what that's called.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Well, fingers crossed it continues to go well for you. I know that you've been all sorts of doing all sorts of networking things and trying to expand from that perspective. Obviously, links for what you mentioned will go in the description as usual. Um, as far as updates go, I think that pretty much covers your situation or the update on the last episode. Is there
Mhm.
anything else that you want to touch on update wise?
Yeah, I guess there's the elephant in the room is Taiwan is uh, this place on Earth where China has been threatening them for like decades. Um, so I guess the maybe we can talk about the geopolitics of it all.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess for people who are unfamiliar with the whole situation is that China had basically a civil war, um, and the communists won that civil war, and the nationalists fled to the island of Taiwan, where they and so China wants to have control over Taiwan because it goes back to that war, and so China has been threatening eventually to invade um, or to try to reunify with Taiwan. Um, and I guess the latest on this is that there's been this special defense budget that the president of Taiwan has proposed. Um, and basically Taiwan will buy a lot of its military equipment and weapons from the United States. And um, the U.S. Has operated under this what's called strategic ambiguity over whether or what it will do in the event that China tries to do something to Taiwan. And so it's a very complicated and touchy kind of scenario. Um, Also important to note is that Taiwan produces like 90% of the world's advanced semiconductor chips, like the computer chips. Um, so whatever device you're watching on right now, like that has chips from Taiwan. Um, and so it's really important that um, Taiwan basically it gets to like it can't be formally recognized as a country because China thinks it's part of China. Um, but it basically unofficially gets to act as one. It has its own military, has its own democratic elections. Uh, is that making sense? I kind of
Yeah.
went all over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
place there.
100%. No, it makes sense. Does that concern you at all about moving there? Are you worried about something happening?
I mean, it's always something to think about. I'm not too worried about it though. The I think the costs of innovation would be very high. Uh, and then if in the event that something were to happen, it wouldn't like it like I there would be advance warning of it, and then I'd be able to figure out what to do. I think I guess I'd fly back to the US or something. Um, but yeah, I'm not really that worried. It's like there's a huge vested interest in having that invasion not happen. Um, and there's people working on that, I guess, in various governments around the world to try to
Mm.
prevent that from happening.
Yeah, it's interesting because from the sort of Iran conflict or war that's going on now, it almost seems like the strategic ambiguity that you mentioned before is has lost a little bit of its like oomph in terms of like the Iran conflict hasn't gone particularly well for the US, it seems. So I wonder about that as well.
Mm. Well, the strategic ambiguity, that's specifically for Taiwan. Iran is different. And
Well, it is, but I guess what I'm saying is like the capabilities of the US military are now it's like, oh well, they're not doing that much. It's so it like kind of changes the ambiguity from like what is a full scale response going to be.
well, it's hard to say because um, obviously the U.S. government has never said what it would do in the
Hmm.
event that something like this, something were to happen to Taiwan. Um, I think between Iran and Venezuela, the U.S. has, and even the posturing around Greenland, I think the U.S. has shown, at least under Trump, willingness to pursue military objectives. Um, and in terms of an operational perspective, what our military did in Venezuela was very difficult. Now, that's not to say it was good, but that's just to say that we were able to pull off a very difficult operation.
Hmm.
Um, and then uh, same thing with Iran, where Iran kind of confuses me. I think,
I
um,
think it confuses everyone.
yeah, I think it was basically Benjamin Netanyahu who dragged us into this war,
Hmm.
and because he convinced Trump that it would be a good idea, and then it wasn't a good idea. Um, and critically, there are certain high precision munitions that have been being expended in the Iran war that could be useful in the event that we need it in the Indo-Pacific.
Yeah,
So that's what I worry about a little
that's
bit.
what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, I worry about that a little bit, but I'm also hopeful that um, this won't drag out that long. I think Trump is looking for an off ramp on that based on what we've been seeing from, uh,
Hmm.
and he knows this the war is unpopular. Um, yeah, it just the Iran war is just it will never make sense to me.
No, I mean
Just like
it's not. It doesn't make sense to anyone. And he keeps running around citing this poll that CNN showed that said, did you see this? The poll said 100% of MAGA still supports the Iran war, but they didn't define what that meant. So there's a bunch of so like yeah, it's basically saying yeah, 100% of people who still support Trump still support Trump. It's like well yeah, no duh.
yeah,
So, but he's running around citing that, saying that it's popular. But
I
then
thought it
I
was
saw
90%.
or whatever it is, some absurd
Yeah.
there was definitely a clip on CNN where they said 100%. Um, so I don't know where Trump is getting his information or whatever, but you would hope by this point that he realizes that it's unpopular. Um, and yeah, I think to your point, I think everybody's confused. Like it was about the nuke, then it's not about the nuke, then it's about destroying the Navy, then we've destroyed the Navy, then it's about regime change, but now it's not about regime change because we're negotiating with the regime, but now it's
Now it's about the
like
Strait of Hormuz,
now it's about the Strait of Hormuz, but we're
which,
gonna open it by blockading it.
yeah,
So none of it makes any sense to people who are kind of paying attention. I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago. Like right before it happened, I had David Rand on, who's a kind of political consultant commentator type.
mhm.
Um, and we were both saying like it makes no sense at all because after the 12-day war last summer, they were like, well, the nuclear program is obliterated, and now it's like, well, they're 2 weeks away from a nuke, so we can't let them get it. And it's like, well, which one is it? So
Yeah,
I
it,
don't know. Very confusing for sure.
mhm. And then the markets have been going up and down like crazy
Yeah.
because the cost of crude oil has skyrocketed to like yeah $100 a barrel.
Yeah. I should probably have paid attention more. Maybe made some trades.
It would have been really hard to time
Yeah.
unless you
No,
knew what he was going to do.
absolutely. Absolutely. He does
Um,
like to do things after the market closes though, which I find interesting.
I think I
So then
think
he
there
can
has to
go
be
on.
someone in his administration that's insider trading.
Oh, dude, I mean, well, I think that that has very little to do with his administration and more to do with just Washington in general.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there's definitely people insider trading. Of course. That's why did you see there's this thing called Quiver Quantitative, I think it's called, and they had a Nancy Pelosi stock trader tracker
Oh,
that was by AI, and if you followed it, she was up like some absurd number on the year before she retired, and now you can do it with every single congressperson,
oh, I have to check this out.
which I find very funny. Um,
Yeah, it's all public, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and they use AI to track it and make all the trades and whatever. It's like the fact that that exists and people are like, haha, it's a joke, but it's like, hey, no, no, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about banning individual stock trading for elected officials for a while. It's just that
Hmm.
can you trust them to do that themselves?
No, it's the same as
There's
term limits.
yeah, I mean, you have some people, I think, like who are trying to get it done, but you need a majority of both chambers
Hmm.
to get it to happen, um, which sounds like it'll be hard to do. Um,
Yeah. Massey, I think, has been at least trying to get some stuff done. He got the Epstein thing, the Epstein Files Act or whatever it's
oh yeah,
called,
the
passed.
Thomas Massey, he's an interesting one. He's kind of a maverick from
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Hmm.
I think Ro Khanna, um,
Yep. Ro Khanna was also on the Epstein one as well.
yeah, uh, yeah, it's interesting. I think Josh Hawley has talked about banning stock trading. Like I think last like when I was last on this pod, you mentioned the Pelosi Act.
Hmm.
Um, that was it was like yeah named after Nancy Pelosi. To ban
Isn't
stock
that
trading.
hilarious though? Isn't that so funny that they
Yeah,
all know. They're like, oh, you know what? We'll name it after her. It's like unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, I haven't seen much of Holly recently, but also I haven't been paying that much attention because everything is so confusing to me. Like even the Epstein stuff, it was like yep, we're gonna release the Epstein files. Then the Epstein files are a hoax. There's nothing to see here. Then we're gonna release it, but only half of it. And then like the whole thing is very strange to me. It's so hard to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trump had promised on the campaign trail to release the Epstein files, and then it's like um, there's obviously something in it that implicates him, but he didn't want people to see, so his Justice Department was like redacting things, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah, him or somebody that has something on him or something. Um, and then the Cash Patel Dan Bongino thing was weird, where they were both on the campaign trail saying that it has to be released, and then like, do you remember that interview that they did where they both looked like they were being held hostage, and they're like, yes, he definitely killed himself.
I don't remember this. I mean, I
This
haven't.
was
It's been hard to follow everything, like you're saying.
this was back in last summer sometime. They both sat down for an interview, and it looked like they were both being held hostage, like the way that and Bongino, after going like, "Yeah, we need to keep going with the Epstein files. It's the biggest case." He goes, "He killed himself. I've seen the whole thing. I know what it looks like. He killed himself." And it's like it looks like there's somebody off camera. Like you seen the meme of like in the building where the sniper is pointing at somebody else who's pointing the gun at somebody else. Do you
Is
know
it
the
the
one I'm talking
astronaut
about?
one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where it's like somebody's like down in like the pew or whatever, and somebody's right behind them with the gun, and then somebody's right like in the balcony
No,
pointing
I
the gun
haven't
at
seen
the
this
other
one.
person. Oh, it's like, well, anyways. Yeah, it's like I don't know, the whole th and then he resigned, and then immediately the first thing he does is like trash all the people that are saying that they need to release the Epstein files, which I was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand. Makes no sense to me.
It was something that the I think the House Democrats pushed for mostly, and then plus like the Republican majority is so slim that you only needed like a few
Hmm.
crossovers to get this thing to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's what you were saying with Massey, um, probably Fitzpatrick, if I already guess.
Massey and Kana and Marjorie Taylor Greene before she resigned were the three big names that were on that bill.
Mm,
And they all did it at great personal cost. Like Massey, after that, his primary's been funded by like the Adelsons for millions and millions of dollars. Trump has dragged him around on Twitter, which I mean, he does that to everybody, it seems like. So I don't know.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, uh, politics has been crazy. Um, and then, although now that I'm moving to Taiwan, I care about that, obviously Taiwan,
Hmm.
and then I also care about the stock market.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, it's just like everything is just noise.
Does it make you happy that you're moving and now you don't have to, it doesn't have to bother you anymore? The circus
Yeah,
that's in Washington.
yeah, I used to obsess over it. It's just, and I've always found it interesting politics. I was looking into Taiwanese politics a little bit about there's a sort of defense budget standoff where um, the president doesn't have a majority in the legislature, so
Hmm.
he's trying to get this $40 billion defense budget passed, and it's been stalled for months. Um, and you have the opposition party going to Beijing, like the leader of the opposition party going to the Beijing. Just
Oh.
it's not it's um but hopefully maybe this week negotiations are going to continue on that defense budget, and it's just something that's supported by like 60 to 70% of the population in Taiwan, this defense
Hmm.
budget. And again, it would be funds to buy American weapons and to modernize their military uh, based on what we've seen from Ukraine. So this sort of porcupine kind of asymmetric defense, kind of
Hmm.
modern warfare stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, the world is a crazy place, man. The last 2 years have been, I mean, well, really the last 10 years have been so bananas. on a
Yes.
variety of in so many ways. Um, it's been I don't even know. It makes me speechless sometimes thinking about like how normal everything seemed up until that point. Like even from our parents, like it's like, oh yeah, you vote for Obama or McCain, or you vote for Bush or Gore, and obviously we have to go to Afghanistan because 9/11 happened, and like seemed a lot smoother. And now it's just like somebody threw a grenade in the whole thing, and now it's just a
Yeah.
giant mess.
Mhm.
Giant mess. Um, well, any other thoughts before we get you out of here? I know this is more kind of an update on your story and to tell the people kind of where to go find your businesses and that sort of thing. Um, any other thoughts or updates that you want to share?
Um, Nothing really comes to mind. I'll send you my links so people can see where to find my stuff.
All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect, perfect. For those listening, go check the links out in the description. There's my own merch is around somewhere, probably below the thing, although YouTube said that they were moving it, so I don't know where it's going to be. But it's somewhere. Go find it. Somebody go buy a shirt or something and tell me if they like it. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Wow, short one. Nice and easy, nice and quick. Life update,
Mhm.
in and out. Links down in the description below. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks,
Peace.
everyone. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the World XP podcast. If you want to watch another episode like this one, click there. If you want to subscribe, click there.